Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and today we're going to be talking about what it looks like to see, hear, and know each other in our businesses and nonprofits. So, within the workplace, teams really make up a good part of our lives, and they can kind of be that part that we don't think about. They can be shoved off to the side in terms of priority, or when we think about nurturing relationships, right? We typically think about like really close friends and family. But the truth of the matter is, we spend a lot of time with the people that we work with. We spend sometimes in some seasons more time with the people that we work with than our family and friends. And so I think it can be an area that we don't give as much weight to, but the function of these relationships is really important from a standpoint of productivity, but also just a standpoint of our well-being. So if you've ever had a boss or a coworker that you can't stand, that feels really toxic, you might be really thinking about those moments and how hard they've been to you, but it would be different than a spouse or a child or a relationship in your life that feels toxic, and you would go to counseling and you would, maybe try to really like work that out intentionally. I think sometimes in the workplace we can be like, I'm just gonna like ignore that. I'm gonna let it ride. I'm not really gonna work it out because it's just so much effort. I don't have the energy to devote to that. It's just not really a priority. But the truth is, it is a priority because we spend a lot of time with the people that we work with. And so really healthy teams and healthy relationships within organizations are super important. Not only do they impact our everyday quality of life because we spend so much time with them, but they also impact organizations and their path to growth. So that's why we do the trainings with teams that we do, when we're really looking at them and we're getting involved with them and we're saying, hey, where are the points of tension here? Where are the points where you are maybe not seeing and hearing and knowing each other? How can you do that better so that we can, decrease turnover, increase revenue, increase productivity and collaboration, and increase fulfillment in the workplace? So what we think of as the seemingly fluffy thing is actually not fluffy at all. It's really linked to outcomes and fulfillment personally for ourselves. So what would it look like if we really started thinking about those people that we have worked with over the years, or people that we're currently working with, and we just humanize them for just a minute? Because sometimes I think it's easy in the workplace to almost dehumanize each other, to be like, okay, I have to get this done. This person is standing in my way, X, Y, and Z. Like, we can link them to outcomes. And that's that's a slippery slope there, because when we just link them to outcomes, then we don't view them as people with emotions and experiences of life and the things that they've been through, and what generation are they from. And in the book we talk a lot about generational patterns and understanding that. And so there's all these things, and I'm not saying all these things to make you feel overwhelmed. I'm just saying them actually to shed light on it, so you don't have to figure this out today. I want you to leave here feeling lighter than when you came in. And I would just encourage you during this episode, while I ask some of these questions, for you not to take these on as baggage, or picture yourself like a backpack of cinder blocks or heavy blocks. These things are not meant to make you feel shame, or I'm not doing this, or I'm less than, or I need to be doing more. This is not about that at all. The point of this exercise is just to give you an opportunity to ask some questions and perhaps see things in a little bit of a different light that might ultimately help you and the people around you as you go throughout your daily life. So the first question is, where did they come from? When you think about the people that you work with, maybe it's a boss, maybe it's a leader, maybe it's just a coworker. Do you know their story? And what would it look like to maybe just ask them more and learn a little bit about their story each day, their life story? What makes them the way they are? Maybe they were raised a certain way with a certain mindset, and that's what impacted them. What have they been through in their life? Maybe certain experiences, good and bad, have shaped them. We call this work triumphs and hardships. What do we hear them repeatedly saying that may be a source of woundedness? I would really challenge that one particularly, because if we hear them constantly saying like, I didn't do that right, or like, I really screwed that up, or, I'm just so overwhelmed, I can't get everything done, or, there are probably phrases that you hear them saying and repeating to themselves, and you probably do this yourself, right? And those phrases tend to have things underneath of them. They tend to have layers. And so that's why we use that 5 whys tool of like, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you always feel overwhelmed? What's causing the overwhelm? Where were you told maybe at some point in your life that that you can't get it all done, right? Or what are the underlying beliefs that we need to unpack and put back together in a healthy way to be able to continue? So it might give you a little bit more understanding of who they are, where they came from, and really maybe some beliefs that they have about themselves that aren't true. So, and what do they really want? What do they want outside of maybe the organization, or what do they want next for their work, their lives? We're all people that have all of these desires and all of these experiences that we bring to the table. And so sometimes those can get in the way in a toxic way, but sometimes they can also get in the way in a good way. They can become, I call them good distractions. Those conversations are small moments where it's not like you really have to do anything. It's just really your heart posture towards them, and people can sense it. And when that shifts just to like an understanding, like a quiet understanding, sometimes you don't even need words. And I promise it will help you as you move toward getting some things done or productivity. Now, of course, there are going to be people that are just literally toxic and need help outside of this space, and there's nothing that you can do about that. So that's where you have to like apply boundaries. And I think of Henry Cloud in those situations. When he talks about boundaries, he's really the master of that area. So check out Henry Cloud stuff if you're really struggling with that, because he's really a good source for that. So, but I think just having these small maybe conversations or moments can change our script in our minds about how we see them, who we see them. It's like a kaleidoscope. When you're looking through a kaleidoscope, you turn the end of it and you get a whole new picture. And so as humans, we're very multifaceted and we're different in different environments. Have you ever seen a coworker like outside of work? You're like, they're completely different. They're so much fun. And, at work, they're miserable or whatever it is. Right. So we're all like that. And so it takes a long time to see each other and to know each other more and to hear each other more. And the truth is that we won't ever fully know each other, because that's a lifelong journey. And we're always changing and evolving and growing and learning in different ways. But there are some things that we can do. So just tangibly, as you walk away from this episode, don't underestimate the power of small things, small words of thanks or appreciation, holding the door, making eye contact when you talk. I'm just challenging you here this week to just flip the script. Try it for 30 days. Put a note on your desk, flip the script, and maybe even draw like 30 boxes and check them off each day and see how it goes. Like, even if you do one thing a day, how would it look different? How would cultures look different? How would you change for the better? How would productivity inside of teams change? And this is really, this is what moves the needle. And this is the 10% of work that I always say that impacts the 90% of outcomes. So these seemingly small things are not small. They are actually big. I challenge you to take this, to accept this for 30 days and try it and let us know what happens. And this is really the basis of some of the work that we do with teams in our team workshops. So it always starts with people. Remember that. And you can always show up every day and you can see, hear, and know each other and yourself better than you did yesterday. So thanks so much for listening in, and we will talk to you soon.